How's it going? Giving us more stuff to ramble and rant about. This is informed media's take. Pretty much probably look over, discuss some things over the week. I've been a couple of Java already. Um, I put cocoa, creamer, chocolate syrup, and let's say a little bit of each, and vanilla syrup in my coffee this morning. It's great. Anyways, I was going to say this was what I was going to say if I was going to air this last night um, about Hillary Clinton. I've talked about Hillary Clinton. Um, I'm not going to touch Hillary Clinton's situation with a 10-foot pole. So we're looking at a couple of different things. Well, they're talking about the border and other things like that. I want to look at think of a thought of life where everybody wins, no losers, everybody's a taker, everybody wins. how do we get to that place in time and with our lives? So I was going to discuss how to kill racism. I think it was an effective tool to use if somebody starts acting racist or talking uh, racist stuff. I would just say, hey, I don't want to talk about it. Just tell them I don't, let's not talk about it. You know what I mean? Can we avoid that? Can we just avoid talking about it? I think that's how you're going to kill racism for the most part. Is just not talking about it. I think talking about it, um, like I don't know, it may open wounds or maybe make people think something different than they normally would have if they would have just naturally just not been talking about it and thinking about it. It's like saying all the negativity, where's the positivity? I've seen one one positive news source. And I might have seen the advertisement maybe on Facebook, maybe, but supposedly it's all good news or something like that. They just only report on the good stuff. So I wanted to kind of put an emphasis on that there's a lot of negativity drowning a lot of the positive out, and we need to kind of weigh them in and kind of lean towards the positive side sometimes when we're leaning on the negative side. I wanted to suggest, because I think that it's kind of weak to not be able to fight in society. Um, I think that we should legalize fighting, and if the people get carried away, then you take them to jail, and then you charge them with something. But if it's just a fight, two people, then like they walk away whenever there's a true sure victor. You see, there's a somebody obviously won the fight, so they quit and they don't take it too far, and maybe even have it planned out where we can have them have a lot more fights, just regular fights. People have a problem with each other, can take it into a ring, different rings all across the country. That's what I think should happen because I think it's weak and it's uh, adding to a weakness, like it's kind of girly. It's kind of girly to not be able to let people fight and just get it over with, you know, because people I made some better my better friends that I've made that I always remember. I have a different kind of respect for. After we after we fist fought. I know it sounds kind of childish, but I think it's weak to not have our people, just ready to fight at any time. Um, and not, like I said, not go too far. Actually use some very, very methodical minded sense. Use common sense like heavily, like more so like scary, like scare people with how much common sense you use when we fight. So not trying to kill each other, just trying to solve a squab and maybe be able to breathe a little bit easier. Not so much tension, break the tension. I think fighting, actually fist fighting, actually helps. It's a so. We're just gonna talk about a no money system idea that I had, but I just wanted to kind of see if anybody thought this was funny. Here, I am the, watch this. I am the Owen Wilson of whenever you talk about religion and stuff. Uh, that's who that's who I remind myself when I'm trying to explain to people the Bible. Is Owen Wilson. But anyhow, so is money really evil? So is money really the root of all evil? So I'm trying to figure out now at the end of time. So you talk about biblical, right? So if you believe in religion and Christianity, then you believe the mark of the beast and a lot of other things are going to take place during the tribulation. So it says basically in the Bible that people have to take the mark, and that's how they're going to buy and sell and trade. Be able to trade and sell and buy their their stuff. That's their money system that they're going to be on. So I just wanted to know if people were even thinking of a no money system to go to for when the tribulation comes. Like, is it like something that, like gold coins or gold nuggets or something that you could carry on yourself? It wouldn't weigh you down too much. Because I believe that people will be here. I don't believe the rapture happens until after the tribulation. So everybody's going to go through that time period. So how are you gonna blend basically in the woods or whatever, or have your homestead or your crafts? Your job will turn into basically what are you good at for real at that time and what you have to trade, what you can barter with. So that's why I was saying, like, Mr. Trump could take all his money and put it into a gold system and have us all working with his money and take us out of a money system, which is obviously up to this point has taken capitalism, which I believe is the best model out of all of the money systems that you had, but they still had a flaw in it where greedy people still got rich, and that's where they're talking about the CEOs. gave themselves pay raises off of the stimulus from the presidents. So that's the lady from Pedro. Pedro. Um, so there was what people forget too well is that the recession, the economy went south besides the Iraq War and besides George Bush and even up to this point now, Obama would be helping it out along. He would have been, he is completely a liar whenever it comes to the economy and our country. But and what he says, he's a complete liar when it comes to bankrupting America. He obviously doesn't care. He hasn't done a budget since he's been president. And Bush did a budget. So there's a difference right there from the Republicans to the Democrats. Democrats are kind of lazy, but the Republicans had a surplus. People want to talk about him spending 4 trillion in Iraq, but Bush actually had a surplus and was doing a budget and was actually um, making moves that were steadily keeping our economy going and everything. But anyhow, so before the government even got involved, back before that, we remember the housing bubble. Was it, when was it? Was it 2003 or four? Um, where they sold a bunch of houses to people who couldn't afford them. And like in California, when they sell houses for extreme prices that are way more than than the thing's actually really worth, it causes a instability in the market. So that was the very first thing that happened in capitalism was greedy people. You know, you got people here who work for a living. They work their whole entire lives, then put money into a retirement system that now you see the politicians go after that also. So nothing's sacred in America anymore. Um, I'd say these politicians have gone after just about everything they could. So I'm still not touching Hillary Clinton in her situation with the 10-foot pole. We'll talk about some of the other candidates. Bernie Sanders. Now he was saying that was the housing collapse, the housing bubble of 2003 to 2004 is what I was talking about. That's how our economy went south in the first place. Was them abusing the housing market. So anyway, so we'll talk. Um, is it Bernie Sanders, right? So I said scary socialism. It's it's scary to me because see, like you have these guys, they'll they come in disguised as somebody who's helpful because what they've got all these ideas, but it's how they're going to make laws and pass rules so that they can hand down judgments and basically um, criminalizing people, keep um, keep the institutions going. If you had somebody who's told you that they're going to reform the prison system, what what do you think that they mean? You can't think that they possibly mean coming from the government that they're going to um, take some laws away and not sugarcoat and and add more um, laws. Putting people in more I would say precarious positions, dangerous positions with authority and with the law. When really what you need to do is you need to have people behave themselves, be able to trust people, but you have to teach them about honor and respect to be able to be trusted anywhere where they don't need to be watched. And that's that's true prison reform right there. When you teach people how to live and you teach people how to have an open mind to change their own ways, you don't change anything from the government. You're not going to change anything from the government's perspective. You're going to make it worse. It's you say a quagmire. It's a compilation. It's a yeah, a failed one. I'm trying to say it's like a bunch of it's like a snowball kind of. It's a bunch of bad things rolled into one. Um, so basically, the reforming the prison system cannot come from the system. The system's not going to be able to make people adjust and quit what they're doing. People have to be able to think about what they're doing and consciously make a sound choice for their own self that, oh, I don't want to be in trouble with the authorities. But the authorities aren't giving people less of a chance of being in that situation. They're giving them more chances. That's why I think socialism, in part, is so darn scary because it it really will make criminals out of people that normally just they would live their lives normally and you wouldn't have to worry about them anyways. But if you're talking about people that are in jail, people that are in trouble, the only way you could ever get somebody to stop their ways is by them changing their own way. The government can't make anybody really. They can make these laws and order people judgments and do all this stuff all they want. Um, they can sit them on road gangs, work crews, but they're not going to take the criminal element out of a person unless a person's ready to change the way that they live, their own self. So that's what I think is the true answer to that. And if you look towards um, anything that would lean towards helping a person change their way or teach them to be morally obligated to changing for the better, um, that's where I would start with, not not with necessarily making laws, and that's kind of like, yeah, I don't even want to hear these people really talk. Um, I don't know what they're all gonna debate and whatever this and that, but our country is all kind of ripped apart, and it's ripped apart due to the fact that liberals have been in charge and they can say whatever they want. Candy asses. I think they're candy asses. They obviously hate America and think America owes them all something and is bad. So America, they need to get even with it. They're not just even with it now. They need to keep getting even with it until they destroy it. So they want to decay. That's what they're doing. They decayed America the best that they could. But I have a lot of what do you say? How do you say that? I look at America and I'm like, America can bounce back from that. That's not Obama's not going to keep America down. If anything, the socialist crap and garbage and everything bad that we've seen up to now, if anything, America's strong, in my opinion. So strong that it'll prevail from that, and it'll use that as everybody will be like, even though the media won't report it, and it's not too much on TV and the news, except maybe one, maybe two will report, but um, that Americans Americans are going to be the ones, besides their own media, that are going to have to think about this, Obama thing heavily a little bit and overcome it. So that's what I think. I think America is strong-willed. It's got a lot of good people here, more so than maybe you see in many other places all over the world. Just um, it has people from all over the world here, so maybe that has part to do with it. But I think America is such a strong place that I can't help but think that everybody's gonna come together, black, white, brown, yellow, whatever your nationality is, however you want to put that, and that's what makes America so strong, is that they'll get past these things that people want to point out politically or whatever, just for a political toy or reason. Like races, like that really matters whenever it comes down to it. It really should only matter that we're all Americans and that we love our country and that we're given the opportunity to see the um, the less better side, the more good side of our country, not not have it beat down all the time. So um, I just wanted to say that rioting and looting is not protesting. So protest, we know what the difference between protesting and rioting and looting is. We won't ever forget people who rioted and looted and pretended to call it protesting. All right. So why would anybody want to be filthy rich? There's a couple people that are. When you look at Donald Trump, he was competing against other people. He did a good job. Any one of us would have done the same thing if we had a mind like his. We would have done the same thing and wouldn't have looked back. So we can't hold him, you know, to that. That's another thing that makes Trump kind of a little bit good. There is that people don't look at him like um bitter, sort of. Some people might. I haven't really ever looked at him um what do you say, uh raw. For some reason I just haven't ever had a thought Trump was a chump. I always thought he was kind of cool, I guess. So um but so he did it to compete with other people, maybe. But other people, they want to be in charge and in demand, right? Demand, in command. Like where they demand, they can demand where they command. They want to be in charge of it all. So they want to own the world. Maybe if they had all this money, billions of dollars, maybe they could own the world. Maybe I don't know, but I think that when people become filthy rich now, I see that there's a lot of money there that could have been used to go to the no money system, like I'm talking about, where people trade and barter with each other. It wipes out the criminal element because people have to. Well, I guess they'd still try to maybe try to rob you for your things, but um, I was saying focus on teaching people the different nature, different lifestyle. Then that obviously it came into pattern after they picked it up from somewhere, taking other people's stuff. So obviously, if you want to really um, reform the prison system, it starts with the people, and they have to be given the challenge, right, and the opportunity to have the opposite and to feel good about themselves and to change into a good person, to a different person. Maybe they are a good person naturally, but really it blows that all away if you still, if you are taking from whatever, however you do it, you're not a good person. No matter what you try and do, you're just kind of dirty. So um, I was saying like you give people more crafts or other things where they can trade, um, rather than to necessarily buy all the time, or use money. So we don't use money anymore. Maybe they can be the ones that dig up new resources like gems and precious metals and stuff like that that we could use here and whatnot. Maybe they can harvest it in different ways. Um, but that's what I'm talking about. How do you really take reform the prison system and take the criminal element out of people, um, truly, and not and not be lying to the people or lying to ourselves about reform. So you have to, um, like I said, give people that opportunity to make the change at home first, obviously. So I don't think that I think that they're um, politicians. For however many years they've been a politician or whatever they've been doing, they've obviously got a knack for talking, the gab. So instead of being upfront and truthful with people, they hide behind words that people don't even think about what they mean. What's the definition of your speech that you're giving? What was the definition of Obama's speech? Was basically hope and change. There's no real way to put a label on that unless you look now after 8 years of going after America and lying, not telling the truth. So, I don't know. Maybe I should change this to food for thought. One thing I'm going to change the name to food for thought. I'll leave that informed media take, and then I'll say food for thought in the title. I'll add that to it. But there's what I was thinking about. I was gonna maybe go through the news, maybe, but I'd rather not. That's a good enough video. It's short, maybe. I don't know, but I'll let you go. Peace. Thanks. Thanks for tuning in.